Humanity had entered the wider galaxy only 50 years ago. Before that time, humans thought they were alone, surrounded only by stars and silence. The day when the first alien ship appeared near Mars changed everything. Since then, trade routes had been opened, treaties signed, and embassies built. The galaxy looked peaceful on the surface, yet there was something strange about it. Daniel was a young officer serving on the patrol ship Silver Dawn. His job seemed simple. The ship would travel between colonies, escort freighters, and check the edges of human space for smugglers. He had always believed that space service would be full of action, but most days were routine. Still, he paid close attention to details others ignored. During one patrol near the border of alien space, Daniel noticed something odd. His scanners showed several alien fleets moving in patterns that made no sense. They were not on trade routes nor near colonies. They would appear, stay still for days, and then vanish as if waiting for something unseen. He called over his captain, an older man named Harris. "Sir, look at this," Daniel said, pointing to the display. "The Yari fleet has been circling the same empty system for 3 days. Then they pull back without reason. That is the 4th time this month." Harris frowned but shook his head. "Probably training exercises. They do things differently. Don't overthink it, Daniel." Daniel nodded, though he did not believe it. He kept watching, recording data in his personal log. The galaxy looked too calm, almost staged, like actors playing roles on a theater stage. Trade ships moved with care, never too far from escort fleets. Diplomats always spoke in careful words, never saying too much. Even when disagreements rose, no one raised their voice. It was peace, yes, but peace that felt unnatural. A week later, Silver Dawn was ordered to escort a convoy near the edge of Yari territory. The journey was calm until Daniel noticed another strange event. 2 alien ships appeared briefly on long-range sensors, then disappeared before the convoy could approach. The alien signatures matched no known type in the open registry. Daniel leaned closer to his console, adjusting the readings. That was no freighter. Those were warships, he whispered to himself. Later in the mess hall, Daniel tried to share his thoughts with his friend Lena, another officer on the crew. "Have you ever felt like the galaxy is hiding something from us?" he asked quietly. Lena smiled at him. "You sound like a dreamer. Aliens are just careful. They have their own rules. But why hide fleets in empty systems?" Daniel pressed. "Why send warships with no flags? I think they are showing us only part of the truth. There is more out there, something they do not want us to see." Lena shrugged. "Maybe, or maybe you just need some rest." Despite her words, Daniel could not rest. He began to look back at reports from the last 10 years. The patterns were there for anyone who wanted to see. Fleets moving in circles, colonies attacked by raiders who left no trace, disputes between alien empires that ended too quickly, as if rehearsed. The galaxy was wearing a mask, and humanity was too new to notice. One evening, as he stood near the ship's observation deck, Daniel looked out at the stars. The view was peaceful, with bright pinpoints scattered across the dark. Yet in his heart he felt tension, like a storm waiting beyond the horizon. He remembered something his grandfather once told him before he joined the service. Peace is not always what it seems. Sometimes peace is only silence before the truth. The word stayed with him as the ship continued its patrol. Every quiet system, every alien fleet vanishing into the dark, made him believe more strongly that the galaxy was not what it appeared to be. Humanity thought it had joined a family of calm neighbors, but Daniel suspected they had stepped onto a stage where everyone was pretending. What worried him most was a single question that returned to his mind again and again. If the galaxy was hiding its true nature, then what would happen when it finally decided to stop? That thought followed him into his dreams, and it was a question he knew he could not ignore. Daniel sat in the dim glow of his console on the Silver Dawn. The hum of the ship's engines was steady, almost soothing, yet his mind was restless. For days he had been going through old patrol records, comparing ship movements and coded transmissions. Something was there, hidden in the noise. He could feel it. One evening, his screen lit up with a faint signal. At first it looked like background interference, but when Daniel enhanced the data, a strange message appeared. It was a transmission between 2 alien fleets. The voices were scrambled, but fragments slipped through. Containment in place. Not ready. The cycle continues. Daniel leaned closer, his pulse quickening. The words were strange, but they carried weight. What cycle? Containment of what? And who was not ready? He quickly saved the data before the transmission vanished. The next morning, he brought the recording to Captain Harris. "Sir, you need to hear this," Daniel said. He played the fragments. Harris listened, his face unreadable. Strange words, but this could be anything. Code chatter, old signals bouncing back. Daniel shook his head. "No, sir. This was live. 2 fleets were speaking. They used phrases that suggest control, containment, something hidden." The captain sighed. "Daniel, you are a good officer, but you are starting to sound like a man chasing ghosts. We cannot accuse the galaxy of hiding secrets based on half a message." But Harris did not delete the file. He forwarded it to Fleet Command with a short note. "Possible unusual transmission. Further analysis recommended." Days passed with no response. It seemed Command had little interest in Daniel's discovery. Still, a small group of officers aboard the Silver Dawn began to whisper. Some had noticed similar things. Fleets that vanished, coded bursts of data, colonies unsettled by unseen forces. They urged Daniel to keep digging, and he felt a growing sense that he was not alone in his suspicion. On their next patrol, the ship passed near a quiet border station used for trade with the Zoran, a tall reptilian species known for strict diplomacy. Daniel had often spoken with one of their envoys, Mira, who seemed kinder than most. She agreed to meet him in the station's lounge. "Mira," Daniel said quietly, "I need to ask you something. Why do alien fleets keep moving without reason? Why do transmissions speak of cycles and containment? What are you hiding from us?" Mira's golden eyes fixed on him. For a long moment she said nothing. Then she lowered her voice. "You should not ask questions like this, Daniel. The galaxy is not what you think. Many species have agreed to remain silent." "Silent about what?" Daniel pressed. Her gaze softened, almost with pity. "You humans are new. You are curious. Too curious? We learned long ago that silence is safer. Do not dig too deeply. It is not time for you to see." Daniel's breath caught. "Then there is something." Mira stood quickly, her scales catching the light. She placed a hand on his arm just for a second and whispered, "Wait until they stop pretending." Then she turned and left the lounge, disappearing into the crowd. Daniel sat in silence, her words echoing in his mind. Stop pretending. The galaxy was wearing a mask, just as he had suspected. But how long could such a mask stay in place? Back aboard the Silver Dawn, Daniel shared the encounter with Lena. She listened, frowning. If she is right, then everyone is in on it. Every fleet, every leader. That means whatever they are hiding must be huge. Daniel nodded. And dangerous. If they are this careful, it must be something that could change everything if revealed. That night, the ship's sensors caught another burst of coded data. Daniel traced it to 2 fleets passing silently through empty space. He decoded only one phrase before it vanished. The fracture point is near. His chest tightened. The words carried a warning. Something was coming, and soon. As Daniel stood at the observation deck once more, the stars shone cold and quiet. But he no longer trusted their silence. The galaxy was gathering its strength behind closed doors, and humanity, still blind to the truth, was standing on the edge of something far greater than anyone had imagined. For Daniel, the storm was no longer a distant thought. It was near, and he knew the calm around them could not last forever. The Silver Dawn drifted near a trade hub where ships from many species gathered. It was noisy, colorful, and busy, yet Daniel could not shake the memory of Mira's warning. Her words echoed in his mind. Wait until they stop pretending. For days, Daniel kept scanning every frequency, searching for more coded messages. He found fragments, but never enough to form clear meaning. Each piece hinted at secrets too large to hide forever. Still, most of his crew carried on as if nothing was wrong. They laughed in the mess hall, played cards, and planned shore leave. Only Daniel seemed to feel the weight of silence pressing down on them. One afternoon, Captain Harris sent Daniel on an errand. He was to deliver updated charts to the Zoran delegation. Daniel was not surprised when he saw Mira waiting for him at the station's diplomatic hall. She stood tall, her scaled figure wrapped in flowing robes of deep blue. You should not have come back to me, she said quietly, as if afraid of being overheard. Daniel lowered his voice. I had no choice. I need answers. Humanity is part of this galaxy now. We cannot live behind a curtain forever. Mira's golden eyes studied him. She seemed torn between fear and duty. At last she spoke. The galaxy you see is not the real one. We wear masks for you, for ourselves, for survival. Long ago, we fought wars that nearly ended everything, so the leaders made a pact. We would hide our weapons, hide our rivalries, and pretend peace. Better to live behind lies than risk destruction. Daniel's chest tightened. So the fleets I saw, the coded words, they are part of this? She nodded slowly. Yes, fleets wait in shadows. Codes carry warnings. The old war never truly ended. It only went quiet. And humans, you are the reason silence is cracking. Daniel frowned. Why us? Because you do not know how to pretend, she said. You are too open, too bold. The others fear that your presence will break the pact. They fear what you might become when you learn the truth. Her words struck him deeply. Humanity had always been proud of its curiosity, of its will to push forward. Now that same quality threatened to expose the galaxy's hidden face. Mira, Daniel said firmly, you talk like we are children who cannot handle the truth. But you know as well as I do that secrets cannot last forever. What happens when this mask falls? What happens when the galaxy finally shows its true nature? She glanced around, her voice dropping to a whisper. Then you must be ready. Do not trust what you see. Watch carefully. When the mask breaks, chaos will follow. Some will fight. Some will flee. And humans will be forced to choose. Before Daniel could press her further, a call came through his communicator. Officer Daniel, report back to the Silver Dawn immediately. Patrol orders changed. Mira stepped back, her robes flowing like water. We should not speak again. Too many eyes are watching. Remember what I told you. With that, she turned and disappeared into the crowd of delegates. Back aboard the ship, Daniel replayed her words in his head. The mask, the pact, the fear of humanity. Everything pointed to a fragile galaxy waiting to crack. Yet when he tried to share this with Lena, she only shook her head. Daniel, I want to believe you, but if what she says is true, then every alien leader has lied to us since the day we arrived. That would mean treaties, councils, even peace talks are all staged. He met her gaze. Exactly. And if they have been lying this long, the truth must be even worse than we think. The next day, while Silver Dawn patrolled near the neutral zones, Daniel caught sight of something unusual. A convoy of alien freighters was moving in perfect formation. Too perfect. Scanners showed hidden compartments inside each ship, shielded from normal detection. When Daniel pushed the scan further, his console lit up with warnings. Power signatures of heavy weapons stored inside. He froze, staring at the display. These were not freighters at all. They were warships disguised as traders. He rushed to Harris. Sir, those freighters are armed. They are hiding weapons inside. Harris frowned. Are you certain? Yes, I can prove it. Daniel showed him the readings. The captain's face grew pale, though he quickly ordered silence on the bridge. No one else is to speak of this, Harris said firmly. We will forward the data to command, but quietly. If Mira was right, we may be standing on ground more fragile than we thought. Daniel looked out at the convoy as it passed into the distance, peaceful on the surface, deadly beneath. A mask of calm hiding teeth of steel. He realized then that Mira was not simply warning him. She was preparing him. The galaxy was a stage, yes, but the actors were growing restless, and when the mask finally fell, humanity would be caught in the center of the storm. The Silver Dawn glided through the quiet black of space, her engine steady, her crew relaxed after long days of patrol. To most of them, it felt like just another mission, but for Daniel, the air carried tension. He could not forget Mira's words or the disguised warships that had passed before them. Every star outside the viewport seemed to hold secrets. The next week brought troubling news. A new human colony on the edge of known space had been attacked. Reports were scattered and unclear, but the settlement was damaged, with several districts reduced to ruins. The attackers had come swiftly, struck with precision, and left without leaving any trace of their origin. The Silver Dawn was ordered to investigate. As the ship approached the colony world, Daniel stood at his console, scanning the wreckage below. Entire streets had been torn apart. Buildings lay broken like shattered glass. Yet what caught his eye most was the precision. The attack had not been random. Every strike had hit vital points: power grids, communication hubs, transport lines. Lena came to stand beside him. It doesn't look like raiders, she said softly. No, Daniel agreed. This was planned. Whoever did this knew exactly where to strike. They joined the landing team to walk through the ruins. The air smelled of burnt stone and melted metal. Colonists moved quietly among the wreckage, carrying supplies, repairing what they could. Some looked at the soldiers with tired eyes as if expecting no answers. Daniel knelt beside a crater where a power station had once stood. He touched the scorched soil and frowned. "These blast marks," he said to Lena. "They don't match any weapon we've seen in open registries. These are more advanced, more focused." She looked uneasy. "So the attackers used weapons that aren't supposed to exist?" Daniel nodded. "Or weapons the galaxy pretends do not exist." Later, aboard the Silver Dawn, the science team finished their scans of the battlefield. Their report was brief but alarming. Technology used in the attack exceeds known designs of any registered species. When Captain Harris read the words aloud, silence filled the briefing room. Finally, Daniel spoke. "This is proof. Someone is breaking the mask. They are using weapons we were never meant to see." Harris rubbed his forehead. "If this gets out, panic will spread through the colonies. Humans thought they were entering a peaceful galaxy. They are not ready to learn it is only an illusion." "But hiding the truth will not stop it," Daniel said firmly. "Whoever is behind this is no longer pretending. The fracture point is here. The mask is slipping." The captain gave him a long look, then nodded slowly. "You may be right, but until we have names and proof, command will not act. They fear what such knowledge will cause." That night, Daniel returned to the observation deck, staring out at the broken colony below. He remembered Mira's warning. "Watch carefully. When the mask breaks, chaos will follow." It was happening already. 2 days later, another strange event shook the crew. As Silver Dawn left orbit, they detected an unknown vessel shadowing them at distance. Its hull reflected signals, making it difficult to track, but Daniel's sharp eyes caught the faint outline. "Sir, unidentified ship off our port side," he reported. "It is not broadcasting any identification codes." The vessel followed for hours, silent and patient. Then, without warning, it jumped into faster-than-light travel and vanished. The crew murmured uneasily. To Daniel, the message was clear. They were being watched. Someone wanted them to know they were not alone. When they returned to human space, command called for a secret meeting. Captains from several patrol fleets gathered at a secure station. Daniel attended with Harris, his heart pounding as he entered the chamber. Around the table sat human officers and, to Daniel's surprise, several alien observers. One of the older human admirals spoke first. "Evidence has grown. Colonies attacked with forbidden weapons, fleets moving in silence, hidden ships following patrols. We can no longer deny what is happening." An alien envoy, a gray-skinned figure with narrow eyes, leaned forward. "You humans were told the galaxy was stable. You were told peace had been won. That was not a lie, it was a choice. But now someone has broken the pact. The cycle is stirring again." Daniel's mind raced. The cycle. The same word he had heard in the coded message. "What is this cycle?" he asked boldly. The envoy gave him a sharp look but did not answer. Instead, another alien leader said quietly, "You are seeing only the first cracks. If the mask falls completely, you will understand. The galaxy is not calm. It is waiting." Waiting for what? Daniel wanted to demand, but he held his tongue. He knew the truth was near, but still just beyond his grasp. As the meeting ended, Harris placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. "You were right. The galaxy is shifting. But be careful. Curiosity can be dangerous. You may find answers others are willing to kill to keep hidden." Daniel looked out the window at the stars. They sparkled like quiet witnesses hiding what lay behind them. The colony attack was only the beginning. The fracture point had arrived, and humanity stood at the edge of a truth too large to contain. He did not know what would come next, but he felt certain of one thing. The galaxy had stopped pretending, and nothing would ever be the same. The meeting at the station had ended, but Daniel's mind would not rest. The words of the alien envoy repeated in his head. "The cycle is stirring again." It was the same phrase he had heard in that secret transmission. The same phrase Mira had hinted toward. The mask was slipping, and the galaxy was beginning to reveal itself. The Silver Dawn returned to patrol duty, though the crew could sense the change. Conversations grew hushed. Officers whispered about colonies under attack, fleets moving without notice, and strange signals on the border. What once felt like routine now carried weight, like every mission might uncover a secret too big to stay hidden. One evening, Daniel sat in the mess hall with Lena. She studied him with concern. "You're thinking again," she said gently. I can't help it, Daniel replied. The galaxy has been lying to us, pretending peace when in truth it's balancing on the edge of war. I need to know what this cycle is and why everyone fears it. Lena sighed. And what will you do with that knowledge, Daniel? Even if you find the truth, will anyone believe you? Daniel's eyes hardened. If no one listens, then I will still know. Because the truth matters. Humanity cannot walk blind into a storm. The next day, their orders changed. They were to escort human envoys to a crisis council. Multiple alien leaders would be present, along with representatives of the human colonies. The council was meant to discuss the attacks, but Daniel suspected more would be revealed. The chamber where the council gathered was vast, a circular hall lined with glowing panels. Delegates sat in tears, their voices echoing across the room. Humans were few among the crowd, yet their presence demanded attention. At first, the talks were polite. The aliens spoke of trade disruptions, border tensions, and the need for cooperation. But when the subject of the colony attack was raised, the calm began to crack. One alien ambassador accused another of failing to control their fleets. Another spoke sharply of old wounds reopening. The mask of unity was slipping before Daniel's eyes. Then it happened. One of the oldest races present, a tall figure with silver skin and deep-set eyes, rose from their seat. Their voice carried across the chamber, firm and tired. Enough of this silence. Enough of these games. The humans deserve to know. Murmurs filled the chamber. Several delegates shouted in protest, warning that it was not time, that the pact demanded secrecy, but the elder only raised their voice. The pact is broken already. Attacks have begun. Weapons once hidden are in play again. We cannot pretend any longer. Let them hear the truth. The room fell silent. Every gaze turned toward the elder. Slowly they continued. Long ago, before humans rose to the stars, this galaxy was not calm. It was fire and ruin. Species fought endless wars. Worlds burned. Civilizations vanished. When at last the survivors realized the cost, they forged a pact. They agreed to hide their weapons, to bury their fleets, and to act as if peace had been won. That pact was the mask you see today. Daniel's heart pounded. So it was true. The galaxy was a stage, a performance designed to keep war from consuming everything. But the pact was never true peace, the elder said. It was fear. Each species kept secrets, building weapons in shadows, preparing for the day the mask fell. We called it the cycle, for when silence broke, the galaxy would fall again into war. That time is near. Gasps and protests filled the chamber. Some demanded the elder be silenced. Others shouted that the humans were not ready. But Daniel leaned forward in his seat, his voice rising. Why fear us? He demanded. Why hide all this from humanity? The elder turned their silver eyes upon him. Because you humans are different. You do not follow the pattern. You do not accept silence. Your kind would not have agreed to the pact, and so we feared you might awaken the cycle too soon. Daniel's chest tightened. All this time, humanity had been treated like children at the edge of a dangerous game. But now the truth stood open. The council dissolved into shouting. Delegates stormed out, some vowing to strengthen their fleets, others begging for more secrecy. The fragile mask had shattered in plain view. Later, Daniel stood with Lena near the viewing window of the station. Ships drifted outside, their lights blinking against the stars. So it was true all along, she whispered. The galaxy has been hiding a war that never ended. Daniel nodded. And now with us here, they cannot hide it anymore. The mask is gone. The question is, what comes next? In the silence that followed, Daniel realized something else. The galaxy had feared humanity because of what it might do. But fear worked both ways. Now that humans knew the truth, it was not only the galaxy that had choices to make. Humanity had to decide whether to step back or to face the storm openly. Daniel's choice was already clear. The revelation from the council still echoed in Daniel's mind as the silver dawn drifted through the void of space. The galaxy had not been peaceful. Every fleet, every treaty, every quiet system had been part of a carefully maintained illusion. Now the illusion had cracked and the truth lay open for all to see. Daniel stood at the observation deck looking out at the stars. For decades, humans had believed that alien species were cautious but fair. That belief was gone. The galaxy was no calm neighbor. It was a web of predators and rivals, each waiting for the slightest weakness. Lena joined him quietly. It's worse than I imagined, she said. They have weapons hidden everywhere, fleets ready in secret, and alliances we can't even guess at. Yes, Daniel replied. And until now, they pretended it didn't matter. The galaxy only seemed stable. It was a performance, a mask. Now the mask is gone. Across the galaxy, fleets began to move. Some took defensive positions near their homeworlds. Others launched reconnaissance missions in human space. The attacks on colonies were only the beginning. Daniel realized that the cycle was stirring, just as Mira and the Elder had warned. Back on the ship, Daniel and his officers studied the latest scans. A map of fleets and hidden bases stretched across the console. Every race had secret stations, disguised armadas, and weapons never acknowledged in public records. Some of the technology was terrifying, capable of destroying planets in minutes. The galaxy's hidden strength was far beyond anything humans had imagined. Yet amidst the fear, Daniel felt a spark of determination. Other species had survived by hiding. Humans had survived by confronting challenges openly. Where others hid in shadows, humans stood tall. Where others feared exposure, humans embraced truth. And that difference might be their greatest strength. The captain gathered the crew. "We now know the galaxy is not calm," he said. "And we know humans are part of it. The question is how we respond. Do we hide like the others, or do we step forward openly and meet this challenge?" Daniel stood and addressed the crew. "We cannot ignore what we know. We cannot act like we do not see it. The galaxy will show its true face, and we must be ready. We are new, but that is also our advantage. We do not carry the fear and old grudges that other species do. We can act differently, boldly, and openly." The crew listened, some nodding, some frowning, but all aware of the gravity of the moment. Daniel spent hours reviewing strategies, scanning fleet movements and plotting courses through the unknown territories of space. Every star system could hide allies or enemies. Every quiet system could be a trap. Yet the more he studied, the more he realized that humans had one thing the galaxy lacked: courage without pretense. He recalled Mira's warning. "Do not trust what you see. When the mask breaks, some will fight, some will flee." Daniel now understood the full meaning. Many species would panic when the galaxy revealed its true nature. Others would attempt to seize control. Humans, however, could act openly, honestly, and decisively. Weeks passed as the Silver Dawn patrolled. Small skirmishes erupted near colony worlds. Hidden fleets revealed themselves as they tested human defenses. The attacks were not aimed at destruction alone. They were probes, measuring humanity's strength and resolve. Daniel watched each encounter, learning the tactics, understanding the patterns. Humans were slower than some species, but more adaptable. They could improvise in ways the galaxy had not expected. Each engagement strengthened the crew's confidence. They began to see that truth, courage, and determination were as powerful as any hidden weapon. One night, Daniel and Lena watched a star system where several alien fleets had gathered. "They are waiting," she said softly. "Yes," Daniel replied. "But now they know we are watching too. The galaxy has revealed itself. They cannot hide any longer, and neither can we. The true galaxy is not calm. It is dangerous. But humans will not shrink from it." For the first time, Daniel felt a surge of hope. The galaxy might be full of secrets, rivalries, and ancient grudges, but humans had a way of standing in the light, facing what others feared. Where other species had hidden, humans could be seen, and being seen in this case could be the key to survival. The stars stretched endlessly before them, cold and bright, carrying the weight of centuries of hidden wars. Daniel knew that the coming months would be the test of humanity's courage. He knew that the galaxy's true face would challenge them in ways no one had ever imagined. Yet Daniel also knew one thing with certainty. Humans would meet it. They would not hide. They would not pretend. The galaxy had shown its true face, and humanity was ready to respond openly, boldly, and without fear. The mask was gone, and the real challenge had begun. The galaxy had revealed itself. The calm, orderly universe humanity had believed in was gone. The attacks on colonies, the hidden fleets, and the secret technologies of countless species showed that the cycle Mira and the Elder had warned about was real. The mask was gone, and the true galaxy awaited. Daniel stood on the bridge of the Silver Dawn, looking out at the stars. Ships from multiple species moved through space, some in defensive formation, others probing human territories. Every fleet carried weapons humanity had never seen before. Every system seemed poised for conflict. Yet despite the danger, Daniel felt a sense of determination. Lena came to stand beside him. "Do you think we can survive this?" she asked quietly. Daniel shook his head, smiling faintly. It is not about survival alone. It is about showing that humans will not hide. We will not pretend. We face the galaxy openly, and that alone is our strength. Across the galaxy, human colonies were on high alert. Ships had been deployed to patrol critical trade routes. Defense systems had been upgraded. Diplomats worked tirelessly to maintain relations with allies. Humanity was learning to move as one, acting with courage, honesty, and clarity. The galaxy for the first time could see what humans were capable of. The elders of other species watched closely. Many had underestimated humanity, believing they could be controlled, ignored, or guided into silence. Now their fears became evident. Humans did not follow the rules of concealment or secrecy. They acted openly and decisively. They demanded answers and faced danger without flinching. Daniel convened a meeting with his senior officers aboard the Silver Dawn. The galaxy is no longer pretending, he said. Our neighbors have hidden their strength for centuries, but they can no longer do so. That gives us a chance, not to conquer, not to dominate, but to show that humanity will act in light, not shadow. That is our advantage, the crew nodded. Each officer understood the stakes. They had seen hidden weapons, cloaked fleets, and secret attacks. Yet they also understood that fear alone would not win the future. Courage and honesty could, and over the following weeks, humanity acted. Scouts revealed hidden alien stations, but instead of striking first, they transmitted warnings and opened communications. Trade convoys continued openly, escorted by human patrols signaling that humans would not bow to fear. Even when shadow fleets probed human space, humans responded quickly and visibly, showing that they would not retreat. Other species began to notice. Some fleets withdrew, unsure how to handle a species that refused to hide. Others tried to negotiate openly, realizing that deception no longer worked on humans. Where once the galaxy had been a web of secrecy, humanity acted as a beacon of clarity. Daniel watched as the first real interstellar council convened since the mask fell. Humans sat in the center, not in fear but in command of their own presence. The elder who had revealed the truth stood beside them, acknowledging humanity's courage. The galaxy had shown its true face, and humans had met it without flinching. One evening, Daniel and Lena stood at the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The lights of alien fleets flickered in the distance, but none dared to attack openly. The cycle was still present, still a threat, but humanity had proven something essential. They are watching us now, Lena said, and they are thinking differently. Daniel nodded. Yes, they expected fear, hesitation, silence. Instead, they see humans acting openly, refusing to hide, refusing to bow. That changes everything. Across the galaxy, humans continued to build colonies, trade, and explore. Each action was deliberate, transparent, and courageous. Other species began to respect humanity not because they were the strongest, but because they faced the truth openly. In the months that followed, the galaxy adjusted. Secret conflicts did not disappear, but deception became less effective. Hidden fleets could no longer move without being seen. The cycle still existed, but its influence weakened wherever humans acted in the light. Daniel realized that this was only the beginning. Humanity had arrived in the galaxy not to be a silent participant, but to reshape it. By refusing to hide, to lie, or to fear, humans became a new kind of force, one that others could not ignore. As he looked out at the stars, Daniel felt hope. The galaxy had stopped pretending. Now humanity's choice was clear. They would not shrink. They would not hide. They would meet the galaxy openly, boldly, and without fear. And in doing so, they had changed it forever. The Silver Dawn glided onward, carrying humanity's courage into the depths of space. The galaxy had shown its true nature, and humans had responded with strength, clarity, and determination. For the first time, the universe understood that humanity would not be silent, and that alone could reshape the stars.